Let me see you put your hearts up. I loved when I heard the title of that song, and then I went and listened to it, and I just fell in love with it. Let me see you put your hearts up. So the concept of putting your heart up really intrigued me, because it made me say to myself, what do I usually put up? So let me ask you all, what do you usually put up? What? What'd you say? Defenses, right? My defenses are down. Right, so, Annie, get your gun. Anyway, so, what do we really usually put up? Really, it is our walls, right? We put up our boundaries. We put up our defenses. So a young woman came to my house the other day, and I was very busy, and I could see her through the window, but she saw that I was busy, but she still rang the doorbell. And I could tell it was a solicitation of some sort. And from my kitchen to the front door, I felt myself put up my barriers and my walls and my annoyance and my blah, blah, blah. And I opened the door from that perspective, and I met someone who was clearly living from putting her hearts up. And she literally crashed my defenses. Now I am an Annie, get your gun. She crashed my defenses, and she just said, hi, I know you're really, really busy, and you probably have the last person you want to talk to today, and I'm going to make it really quick if you'll just give me a second. And I was like, you're good. Because I was about to tell you, don't even start. So, not that I'm usually a very nice person. Even when the Jehovah's Witnesses come, I always talk for a while. Boy, do I talk for a while. Yeah. But I do put my heart up. I really do. And they put their hearts up. So anyway, so back to this girl. So she starts to tell me about what she's doing in the magazines she's selling. And I could feel myself, as she's talking, coming back up. Do you ever have that happen? Here come my defenses again. Up, here we go. Here come my judgments. How many of you have judgments about people? I love that. I love that you rose your hands. That is so sweet. There's no camera on you, so no one saw you do that but me. But I love that you're going, yeah, I do. I have judgments. You know what? Because until we can identify these things that we do, we can't do anything about them. Not if we're going to live in denial and act like, no, everything's good, until I judge this person over here. So she's talking to me, and I can feel it rising, and I know what I'm coming in to talk about this week. I've listened to this song 1,000 times now, and I was like, no, just love. Just love. Don't buy the magazines, but just love. And I told her that. I said, you know what? I am not actually going to buy your magazines, because we buy them every year, and I have so many magazines, I don't really know how I could possibly read them all. And we had this great talk. I told her she was doing a brilliant job. She said, well, they teach us how to do this. I said, well, you go back and tell them you're ready to teach others to do it. It was great. We had a great talk. She actually said, can I give you a hug? And I was like, yes. And can I tell you, honestly, I'm being really honest here. As soon as she said, can I give you a hug, my thought was still, I'm still not buying the magazines. Really. Because I think we walk through life having been taught that most of the world is pitching us. Don't we? We walk around thinking the world is pitching us. So when I hear a song like, and I gave her a hug, and she went on her way. And I honestly felt like we both benefited from that moment. Really benefited. So, as I'm listening to this song this week and I'm preparing and I'm thinking about all the walls and the barriers, you know, I've had this conversation many times with people about walls and boundaries. Boundaries. How many of you have healthy boundaries that you put up? Many of you have taken mental muscle, you know where I'm going with this. I don't believe boundaries are healthy, not the way we have set them up as a society. We've set up boundaries, but we might as well just call them walls. Because here's the thing, you are a fluid momentum of consciousness, living at all times in a cause and effect world where you get to choose what you want to do, how you want to act, who you want to love, which should be everyone at all times. So why we are building boundaries, I don't know. Because the truth is, we put boundaries up because we think something's out to get us. We think something can get us. Even the healthy boundaries, we think something can get us. Now, let me be very clear. I don't consider this a healthy boundary. My knowing that something isn't good for me, that's not a healthy boundary. That's just smarts. But when I do that and I build a boundary that says, this isn't good for me, I'm going to live, this is my boundary, I'm creating it, and I'm going to live behind it, I have just put up a wall. So this song is basically saying to us, let me see you put your hearts up to lead from the heart. How many of us, myself included, how many of us can honestly say 100% of the time we lead with our heart? Because frankly, that's what love only means. To lead with my heart, to get rid of all judgments, to get rid of all the past ideology, philosophy, remnants of things that happened to me. Get rid of it all and lead from the heart. When I lead from the heart, when I put my heart up and lead from the heart, I'm leading from my identity as God. Because God is just love. That's all it is, that energy of love. So when I put my heart up and I lead from love, then I am actually living. The last part of this was just remembering who I am. So I think it's really a great time to look around the world that we live in and see all the opportunities to lead from our heart and to see everything with a heart-like consciousness. Now, at the end of the song, or during the song, they sing, with a little bit of love, maybe we can change the world. First of all, I'm going to get rid of the word maybe. Oh, you didn't even sing it? Baby. There you go. They're a step ahead of me. So, with a little bit of love, thank you, Barbara Shane, we can change the world. Now, the title of my talk today is What Needs Changing? What needs changing? So I'm going to ask you, as I look at the four legs of the table, do y'all know, who doesn't know what the four legs of the table is? A table represents our life, and the four legs represent the stability of our life, the groundedness of our life. And those four legs are health, prosperity, relationships, and creative expression. Any one of those legs becomes compromised, the table's wobbly. Anybody having a wobbly life or experience of it anyway? Yeah, well, one of your legs is off. Maybe two, maybe three. Maybe you're flatlining. I don't know. I don't know. But what I know is this. When I ask you what needs changing in any one of those areas, if something comes up, I have two words for you. Change it. Change it. Because you can. Because you know who you are. If you are in relationships with people that need changing, anyone in relationships with people that need changing, then change them. Change them. And you know how you change them? You lead from your heart. And you know how you lead from your heart? And you're not going to like this, maybe. You tell the truth. You tell the truth. And sometimes you have to tell someone, this isn't working for me. You and I, this isn't working. So let's all go and get our best God on and go express ourselves perfectly somewhere else. If your health is one of those wobbly legs on the table, then what you have to do with that is lead from your heart. And I have a story to tell you. So the last couple days, I woke up the other day, about 3 days ago, with a sprained wrist. How do you sprain your wrist in your sleep? I'd like to know, because I don't know what happened. Because I was sleeping some concoction way. I don't know. Kevin rolled over. It's always his fault. He must have rolled over. Is he in the room right now? Okay, good. Let me shift this talk. Hold on. No, really. Let me change this talk. No. So I woke up, I went, wow, what is this? And it was like, I could not even bend it. It was, I was like, oh my God. So the whole day, now I'm on ice, I'm wrapping it. Guess what I didn't think to do? Treat. I didn't. I immediately identified with my wrist, and I don't need any more problems with my wrists. They do what they want all on their own. So, although the good news was it couldn't do that, so maybe that was a good thing. So I've got it wrapped. Kevin's icing it for me. It's all, doing really well. And I wasn't doing well. And it is so painful, I can't think. I just can't think. So I take some aspirin. Doesn't do a thing. I'm like, where's the morphine when you need it? So I go through the whole day. I go to bed. I wake up the next day, and it's worse. Just worse. So now I'm thinking, doctor, St. Joseph's Hospital, something, and everybody had to leave, so I'm all alone for the day. And so I come into the center, I went, this is Saturday, yesterday! I come in, and I come in, Don Zenz came in, got something, I had to get something out of Karen's office, and I leave Karen's office, I go to my office, and I'm working, and Will calls me and says, Dad, you need to get home, I'm going to be late for my rehearsal. I said, no problem. I get up, can't find my keys. Clearly, I left them in Karen's office, which I have locked. Now I am in pain, with a sprained wrist, a son that needs to go to a rehearsal, a car out back that has no key to it. Kevin is on the other side of the world. I am not calling Karen Frost to get her to drive here to me, as if I could even get Karen Frost to drive. I'm sure she would have. Karen, are you here? Anyway, so I am literally locked out of my life. Locked out of my life. Now, I can break into any room in this building. I know how to take a credit card and break. I'm telling you some things you don't want to know. I can break into almost any room in this building after owning it for 11 years, except Karen's office. I could not get into Karen's office. I was able to break into Theater 3, the classroom, and then that stupid little door between them, even worse. Can't get into that either. Now I'm in more pain because I'm using my wrist to actually try to deal with all of this. That's 1:30. Will had to be at rehearsal at 2. 1:30. You know what time I left this building? 3:30. Someone else had to take him. It's 3:30. You had to be here. I am laying in Theater 3 saying, what is the metaphysical meaning of this? What is mine to know? What do I need to know? And I was like, get a locksmith. What do I need to know? And so finally, I heard in my inner being, just try the door again. I walk over to the door, and I push it once, locked. I push it twice, and I was like, oh. I push it a third time, it pops and opens. And I was like, unbelievable. I could have done this 3 hours ago. No, I'm getting hammers and chisels and credit cards. My Macy's card is destroyed. The reason why I'm telling you this, besides just to give you the image of what I looked like yesterday laying in this theater, at one point I came and laid down here and said, there's great juju in this room. I should just figure out how to unlock that door. I get home, I unwrap my arm, I've got to jump in the shower, and I went, oh my God, I've got a treat. I really need to treat. Everything seems to be breaking down. I'm getting locked out. What is going on with your mind, Reverend James? This is your job. You've chosen this. What would you say if someone came to you with all of this? So I sat down and had a counseling session with myself, and I started treating. I got undressed. I jumped in the shower. I showered, and in the middle of my shower, everything went away. My arm went away. It disappeared. No, my arm, my hand. I was like, wait, wait, what? Just gone. All the pain, everything gone. And I was like, wow, treatment really works. And then I was like, of course treatment works. You knew the truth, and then you just let it go. And here's the deal. Change your life. Change your thinking. Change your life. Change your beliefs. Change your life. Your mind, your conscious mind, if you really do the work of changing your mind, your body has to react. It just has to. Our issue is that we get so caught up in the idea that this thing is really painful. This arm is really painful. This door is really locked. And yet, it's not. And it's not. And I'm back to my normal self. So today, thank you, Karen. So today, when I'm going into this with a little bit of love, we can change the world. Yes, it works great on the individual basis, and it worked great for me this week, and it worked great for me yesterday. And then I can tell you this too, I was 3 hours behind in everything I had to do, and the day just unfolded perfectly. I got Nora where she needed to go. I was literally my own Uber car yesterday. Nora to the west side, go to see Will in Beauty and the Beast. I'm sitting in Beauty and the Beast at his high school, like a Broadway production of it. Unbelievable, flying in Cirque du Soleil. It was like high school? At the end of the show, the Beauty and the Beast, you all know that show? At the end of Beauty and the Beast does this unbelievable Cirque du Soleil flip and turns into the prince right in front of your eyes. And I'm like, really? In high school you did this? And they're both there, and Beauty hugs him, and they're kissing. And you can tell that this is where they unhook him from whatever did that. And so she unhooks him, and I see her, because I've seen the opening night, so I'm actually looking for other things tonight. And I'm looking at them, and Will was a fork or a knife, so he wasn't on stage. So I see her give the thumbs up, little thumbs up over here, and the set starts to move, and he's still attached. And I'm sitting in like the third row of a big 800-seat theater. And I see him going, no, and the set's going this way, and the cables are going this way, and all of a sudden, Beauty and the Beast flew. And the Beast grabbed Beauty, thank God he was a football player, he grabbed Beauty, and the two of them are now flying. And they're going towards the orchestra pit, and then somebody ran out and grabbed their feet, and then they were lowered, and then the Beast just went. We all put our hearts back into our chests, because they were in our throats, and it was the most amazing thing. But I got to tell you this, I was like, it's all fine. I didn't like go crazy. I didn't like, I was just like, this is going to really work out well. Well, it was like the most exciting moment of the show. It was like, and they were brilliant. And these kids are like 14, 15, 16 years old. And afterwards, I saw the little girl playing Belle, and I said to her, and she's amazing. I said, you were amazing, just amazing, oh my God. And she said, I know, and I wasn't even planning on flying. And I was like, but you have to know how incredible you are. I said, are you considering this a career? And she said, after this, of course I am. She was like, what could possibly go wrong that I can't handle? And I was like, wow, good for you. And she's like this big, just amazing. So, with a little bit of love, we can change the world. How much of the world needs changing, do you think? Yeah? Just a little? How many people think the world needs changing? What if I were to tell you it really doesn't? What if I were to tell you the world really doesn't need changing? Last year, I went to Guatemala thinking that the world needed changing, thinking that Guatemala, Casa Guatemala, needed me to come there and change it and help it. And when I left Casa Guatemala, I had a whole different idea. I want to give great thanks to Sean Keller, who put this together for me this week, and that's why we have this screen here. I have something to show you. And when this is over, I have just a tiny little coda to my talk. So I just invite you all to take a deep breath, and I want to remind you that I asked you a question. Do you think the world needs changing? Just keep that in mind as we show this. So if we can bring the lights down. That blue light is off, so now it's on. Wait, gotta make sure that's there. Great, we're good. From the top! From the top! From the top! 1, 2, 3.
From a mansion in Virginia, on a mountain in Peru, from a tent out in the desert, 3 days ride from Kathmandu, for a baby with a fever, or a teen that's run away. If you're looking for salvation, or just looking for a better day.
From a beggar in Calcutta or an Ethiopian king, from a temple in Korea where a monk begins to sing, for a church that burned in Georgia or a sailor lost at sea, does Doesn't matter where it comes from.
Doesn't matter if it's you or me. In any tongue, in any color, in any word, in any name. When we close our eyes in silence, we all pray the same. No matter what we call it, no matter where we aim, when we lift our hearts together, we all pray the same.
From a pilgrim facing Mecca, or a rabbi in Berlin, from a shaman in the jungle, symbols painted on his skin, for a young bride to be fruitful, or a battle to be won, to the skies for rain in August, to find grace through Mary's son.
Oh, yes, we have our differences.
Yes, we have a choice.
But when we look beneath the skin, we find we're all one voice. One voice. From the man who plays piano
To the boy who beats the drums,
in the girl who sings the melody, or a baby who just hums.
when you put it all together, you will hear the symphony. All the voices singing loudly in a prayer of harmony. Harmony. In any tongue, in any color, in any word, in any name. When we close our eyes in silence, we all pray the same. No matter what we call it, no matter where we aim, when we lift our hearts together, we all pray the same. In any tongue, in any color, in any word, in any name. When we close our eyes in silence, we all pray the same. No matter what we call it, no matter where we aim, when we lift our hearts together, we all pray the same. When we close our eyes in silence, we all pray the same.
Okay, if you can bring the lights back up. Wasn't that beautiful? So, it's very emotional. Ripsime, are you here? I thought I saw Ripsime. I love that hat at the end. The hat the little girl had on. Ripsime had that on for sun coverage. And then a little girl asked to try it on. and I said, don't you need to get your hat back? She goes, oh no. I goes, no, it's theirs now. And that little hat, that hat was all over the village that week. So when I asked the question, does the world need changing? There is a difference between thinking the world needs changing and being part of the world's evolution. There really is a difference, because the difference is consciousness. It's a difference in the way you think. How you, and this goes right to Reverend Jay's talk, this is about perception. How you perceive life is how life lives you. I want you to think about that for a minute. How you perceive life is how life lives you. Those little children, and every single child there, after a whole week with them, every single child there, I see their face and I know them. I remember them. And they were the most joyful, heart-led kids. They played with one another, took care of one another every single day. They were uplifted and happy. It rained once, torrential rain, where all there was mud on the ground. And their answer to that was, yippee, we have something else to play with. And they were like rolling in the mud, and they don't have washing machines. So they were rolling in the mud and splashing, and it was unbelievable. And we just started doing it too. You saw what I looked like. Not my prettiest self. And yet I didn't care. Well, I cared a little, but I didn't care. No, there was a moment when Jonathan looked at me and he looked at my suitcase and he went, "Did you really need to bring a blow dryer?" And I was like, well, I had no idea what was really available, but now I do. And I am so excited to go back there. So excited to step back on that journey. And every single one of you that wants to be a part of that, you get to be a part of that. So today, as we talk about, let me see you put your heart up. And when let me see you put your hearts up, it's for all of us. Can we be driven by love? Can we be heart-driven in our lives? Yes, we can. Can we lose judgment and get rid of all the judgment? Yes, we can. Can we make decisions without boundaries and walls in front of us, holding us into a paradigm that maybe doesn't work for us anymore? Yes, we can. Can we break down those walls? Yes, we can. But you know how? We must live this teaching. We must live this science that just says one thing, and Emerson said it so beautifully. He said, "You are all divinity in disguise. Ye are gods playing as fools." Just think about that. Ralph Waldo Emerson, how many years ago, said, "You are God, I am God, but I happen to play the fool most of the time. I played a fool as I spent 3 hours trying to break into a room. I spent a fool when I spent 2 days thinking I actually had a sprained wrist. I didn't. I had a sprained mind." And that's what we have to learn. That's what we have to know. That consciousness precedes everything. And the way you perceive the world and your life is how the world and your life shows up. By Tuesday of that week, I didn't care about the mud, the smell, the classrooms that were just in such disarray. All we knew was it was time for us to join life and perceive it from a different place. Love. And so we did. And so we let that happen. But you know what? That was a year ago. A lot's happened since then. And I can still feel my mind and my heart sometimes closing up when a girl comes to my door and knocks on it. I can still feel my heart closing up when I see people coming towards me and I wonder if perhaps I'm in the wrong place at the wrong time. I can feel my heart close when Will calls me yesterday. I'm locked in the building, or I'm locked out of the room, and he calls me and says, "Okay, I'm on my way, but I just have to tell you something. There's a shooting going on the freeway, and these cars are kind of surrounding us, and these guys are getting out of their cars, and I should hang up now." I said, "No, you should not hang up now. You should stay on the phone with me." I said, "What are you seeing?" And he said, "Well, they're gangs, they're making these signs, and they're getting out of the car." And I was like, "Well, what is your mother doing? Is she He said, "She's trying to drive around it." I said, "Okay, call 911 and call me back." He called 911, and then he called me back. He said, "We got around it, and they finally saw cops coming, and they all dispersed." Very easy for your heart to close. And yet, it's that very moment we are being asked to open our hearts, to see love wherever we go. So we're the ones. I love the song said, we can't bring Gandhi back. We can't bring Martin Luther King back. We can't bring John F. Kennedy back. We can't bring Jesus back. And yet, as Emerson tells us, every single one of these amazing men live in my DNA. I am Jesus. I am Gandhi. I am Martin Luther King, regardless of the color of my skin. I am all of this. I am every child in Guatemala that is reaching out, not to say help me, reaching out saying, love me, because I love you. We walk the world like that, and we will not only change the world at large, but we'll do the more difficult thing. We'll change ourselves, because that's really what it's all about. So really, let me see you. Put your hearts up as we go forward on this journey together. It's going to be a long journey. Let's have fun living it from a place of seeing the world as a beautiful place to live in. Namaste. Thank you.